Hey, all listeners, coming at you with a preview for our next Civ series. It has been voted on, it has been set, it has been diligently told to me what you all want to see, thanks to SurveyMonkey, and it is going to be another huger TSL. You kind of saw that one coming, I guess. The first one we did, Lenin, was very popular, an epic journey through time. We're using a lot of the same settings. Huge Earth TSL, obviously. We're going to be rolling on Immortal. We're going to be running Tac Turns this time rather than the marathon turns that screwed up all the dates. We are going to be running pretty much the same kind of era length, so it's going to be another epic journey through time. Can't wait to bring that to you. And let's talk about the civs, but we're going bigger and better. We're going to go with 22 civs this time. 22, that's right. All over the world. I've been working on this for a little while, making sure they're all compatible with the true start locations with yet not another Earth map pack. Making sure they all kind of function together. They play nice with all our mods. The mods, obviously, I'm going to be using are listed in the comments as always. But we're going 22 this time. We're going bigger and better, and to fill in some of the gaps that we saw last time, and hopefully Monty won't take over the world. BT dubs, there's not going to be a Monty. Okay, so, there may be a equivalent Monty, but not Monty himself, because Monty's an asshole. Anyway, onward, who are we going to be using? Well, let's go down the list, and hopefully I get this right. I had this in one order, and then I completely lost it, so let's just go down and hope I recognize everybody. Alexander the First. There should be 22. If I miss one, let me know. Alexander the First of Russia, because there's so many Russias, we had to pick one. So Alexander the First it is. When declaring friendship, Russia and their friend lose resistance faster and have increased religious pressure. Units fighting in land belonging to a friend earn 30% more experience from combat and heal plus 10 damage per turn. So he wants to have friends and then promptly declare a war in which his friends' lands are promptly overrun by military. Interesting idea. More religious pressure, obviously. Kind of doing the whole Third Rome thing. Alrighty, so what is this? This is a rifleman replacement called the Leibgvardia. Cheap infantry unit, apparently it's very cheap. Gains +1 movement when beginning its turn fortified. So again, you can fortify, wait a turn, and then start sprinting. Increase to +2 if adjacent to another Leibgvardia. So basically, you can fortify, hold up, and then just sprint to victory. It's kind of like, probably going to be very useful taking cities, actually, too, when you think about it. Kind of sit outside of the range of a city, get +1 movement, you can sprint in. Very interesting, actually. Alright, what else do we have? We have a Licorn. It's kind of like a unicorn, but lamer. I'm kidding. It replaces a cannon. Pretty much does what a cannon does. It's better against gun units than it is against cities. So the bonus against cities is reduced, I think, to 150 from, was it normally 200? Or 300 on a cannon. But it is lower. Has a chance to withdraw before an enemy melee attack can occur. So this is better to kind of put in a front line. A lot easier to move into position, I guess, with the penalty of it's harder to take cities with it. So, interesting idea. So kind of going to go militaristic / religious. Should be interesting how that Russian Empire rolls up. Next, we have Ashoka of the Mauryas. This is like one of the Indian split civs. So we're going to be running with him. Upon making peace, receive culture per turn from followers of your religion. The bonus increases with the number of cities captured in the previous war. The bonus is lost and reset upon capturing a city or declaring war. So, obviously, we want to have a war, capture some stuff, and then go to peace. Then go to war again, then go to peace, then go to war again. So he might have a pretty high warmonger score, and people might get pissed off. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see how he plays. We're running with the War Elephant, which I think is Gandhi's War Elephant. Yeah, pretty much is exactly the same thing as the baseline War Elephant that Gandhi gets. So, bully for him. And you get the Pillar of Ashoka. Free? ? I kid you not. It is a courthouse replacement. Converts 75% of the city's population to your religion, which is pretty interesting, actually, when you think about it. It's like gaining a city conquest and building this sucker, and suddenly, we've got a lot of religion on our hands. So that's pretty cool. It eliminates all unhappiness from occupied cities. So that's kind of what a courthouse does, anyway. I think, hopefully that's occupied unhappiness. If it's just all unhappiness in general, that would be insane. We'll see. And it gives you +2 faith, because reasons. All right, next in line, we're gonna see the Nazca with Gahwachi. Each city and geoglyph in the empire. Geoglyphs, what's that? We'll find out soon. Generates points toward a golden age. Upon the founding of the first 4 cities, receive culture equal to half the cost of the next social policy. So, I've played the Nazca before. These guys are really strong, especially if they start in desert. And they have a couple things to make that work. So we have the Piquillos, which is a watermill replacement. Does pretty much similar stuff, except it provides a source of fresh water for adjacent tiles. So this is really good. You can start not near fresh water, and suddenly you have fresh water around your city, which is huge if you want early farms and take advantage of civil service. So the thing this empire really runs on and what's really unique is the unique improvement. It's called a geoglyph, and you'll see all these weird things up there. Like, what does that mean? Well, it provides a yield based on which pre-medieval social policy trees have been adopted, which is doubled upon completion of the tree. Only the Nazca can build them, and you can only build them on a flat desert tile, which doesn't have anything else on it. So the way this works is, for example, you see aesthetics, culture, you see patronage, science, you see piety, faith, you see liberty, production, tradition of food, and honor, gold. Basically, if you have the opener of any of these policies, every geoglyph immediately starts generating one of those yields. And two, if you finish that policy tree, it starts generating two of that yield. So, and this can only be built on flat deserts. You can imagine desert tiles getting really strong and start producing like one food, and one production, if you liberty opener, and one is, culture because you have aesthetics opener, and one science, and, one honor, maybe two food from tradition because you probably go tradition with a 4-city opening like this guy seemed built to do. So this gets really, really out of hand, and the killer is that this can also be built on floodplains. So you can get 4 food tiles once you finish tradition, which happens pretty early if you do go tradition, and then you can get your floodplain just doing obscene kind of yields for your city. So honestly, these guys can go completely bananas. I was really debating whether to include them, but very strong civ, very unique playstyle. If you haven't done it, check it out. I recommend it. I've done this a lot in my own time, and it's a lot of fun. Also played Carlos. So Carlos is going to be in the game. The Bourbon Reforms. So scientific and religious great people may be expended for social policies, which is an interesting choice. Probably never on scientists if you're ever playing, but, profits. Could be if you're not really going into that much religion. Domestic trade routes yield gold. Gold! Which is pretty cool. You don't have to go out of your empire for gold, which is cool. And have a specialist slot that, when filled, grants the person points to the target city. Effectively, what this does is that you start a trade route to your city, and then the next turn, it starts yielding gold, and you get a free great person slot that you can choose in that city. That's the target. Pretty cool. They have Walloon Guards, du Wallonie, combat strength of 34, rifleman replacement, because everything's a goddamn rifleman replacement. It's unique to Spain, and they are passively produced, and this is the neat thing, passively produced by Spanish puppets. May either spawn as a unit or be expended to heal and increase the experience of all other Walloon Guards, stronger in friendly lands. So this guy puppet cities, these guys are going to be popping out every 2 seconds. They're pretty good in that sense. When you start puppeting, it gets a little ridiculous. You just have so much meat to throw at the enemy. It gets pretty strong. Now, we also have the Santísima Trinidad, the holiest trinity of doom. It's a frigate replacement for Spain. Unique frigate only available. We said that already. Less mobile and more costly in maintenance. It's considerably stronger, and you can actually upgrade it 3 times for even stronger versions of itself. You heard that right. You can keep adding more guns to it effectively, and it just gets ridiculous. It ends up being something of a stopgap between frigates and battleships. Pretty well, actually. It's freaking scary if you have enough money. It requires a lot of money, so bear that in mind. Alrighty, the Chinook are going to be coming and making another previews. We needed someone to fill that particular area in the geography. If you watch the First Nations free-for-all we have on the channel, you would have met the Chinook already. If you haven't, watch it. Love it. So the Chinook, the salmon fishermen. Coastal resources are automatically improved. Cool. Salmon and orca may periodically migrate to and from cities within range of the coast, being more likely to migrate cities adjacent to rivers. Makes sense, so luxes, neat things, all that good stuff. They have an Esquaya. It's a workboat replacement, but it's actually a unit that can fight. It's crazy. Retreats before combat so you can keep it safe and prevent sources of salmon and orca from migrating away. So you want a couple of these, obviously, and, good stuff. This is kind of goes in with the unique ability. You kind of need to have these in tandem. And then the plank house, also going in with the whole fisherman thing. This is basically a lighthouse replacement. It gives you +1 food from ocean tiles. Each source of fish gives +1 food, which is pretty standard for the lighthouse thing. When built next to a river, trade routes originating from the city produce an additional +2 gold. So a little extra money just to make things better. Alrighty, so next we have Eva Perón of Argentina. +1 food on pastures. Upon researching civil service, receive a special citizen type in all your cities. I realize there's a lot of friggin' specialists in this game. Called a descamisado, which yields +2 culture and +2 production and works toward generation of a great person of your choice, which is pretty cool. And then you have unique unit, the gaucho, which is a cavalry replacement because everything's a cavalry or rifleman replacement. You'll see that happening a lot. Increased withdrawal chance, so basically it has a withdrawal chance, and may build farms and pastures faster than the workers. So if you want to start building farms with your cavalry, this is your guy. All right. Tangeria, it's an opera house replacement. special theming bonuses for filling the music slots with nothing but Argentine music. So, they're proud of their tango. It's all right. And then the slots, obviously, unique improvement dude, unique specialist slot. Alrighty, next up, we have... we're going down the list, so I don't miss anybody. Ingolfur Arnarsson is going to come back because we needed someone in that geographical slot. So if you watched our Scandi Melee, if you haven't, check it out. It's pretty cool. You'll have seen this guy already, but we're going to give Iceland another shot. Cities founded with skalds or on terrain types different than the capital begin with a free Great Work of Writing slot. Earn Great Writer points from discovering civs and from winning naval battles. Their unique thing is a Great Writer replacement called the Skald, and a unique Great Writer who specializes in scouting across oceans. Yes, he can go across oceans right away and can found cities and foreign continents, so very interesting that way. And he gets a thing stead. It's a thing. It's an amphitheater replacement, kind of a meeting house, basically, or a meeting area, I suppose, for things, which are like councils. Forms city connection with the capital, so kind of like a quasi-harbor, and +2 happiness if connected to the capital. So these guys can expand pretty hard, and it should be interesting to see how they start from their island and go to other lands and give everyone an annoying time. Alrighty, next we have the Jundara, or Jundara of the Kimberley, sorry. I'm not good with the names in that particular part of the world. Gain 50% of the happiness from luxury resource not connected to your trade network from cities you have a trade route with. Basically, if you have a trade route with a city that has a lux that you don't have, you gain 50% of the happiness. So pretty cool. Nice way to keep getting some trade networks moving. Units gain increased combat strength for every outgoing trade route. So again, you should trade a lot. Now, unique unit. This thing does a lot. Hey, look, it's a rifleman replacement. Big surprise. Replacing the rifleman, yeah. Not only can the tracker gain promotions bringing to the scout line, they also have the ability to passively track nearby units belonging to other players. When a unit is tagged as tracked, the player controlling the Kimberley will be able to see what that unit sees, uncover undiscovered territory for a short period of time. Tracked units also suffer combat penalty from any Kimberley unit that attacks them. So, pretty cool to have a bunch of these guys, make everything weaker and you know exactly what they see. The Trebinger Camp is a, harbor replacement? Yeah, there we go. It gives you land trade route length, even though it's a harbor replacement, for every incoming naval trade route, so kind of a really big trade network emphasis, and production boost for every foreign cargo ship within workable range of the city. So you should be friendly with people to an extent and make sure they send you routes. Next up, Jefferson Davis of the Confederate States of America, because some alternate history civs that survived into the modern age would be interesting, right? Upon entering combat for the first time, infantry units will receive a unique random promotion. This could either be awesome or it could suck. And I think they're pulled from the Civil War scenario in Civ, in Fraxis Civ. So, some of those are really amazing. Some of them are like terrible. Like you have bad morale and you run into a wall repeatedly or something awful like that. So for 3 turns after the outbreak of war, all non-ranged units may force enemies to retreat. So, yep, you get to charge. Charge! As soon as the war starts, and then after that, you kind of run out of steam. All right, so we have a Sharpshooter, which is a, you guessed it, rifle replacement. Standard Confederate infantry unit of the industrial era, Sharpshooter may only be built by the Confederate States of America. No kidding. Though it is weaker than a rifleman, it'll bombard enemies with a range attack, kind of like the Zulu Impi from Firaxis Civ. Additionally, it receives 20% defensive bonus when stationed on an antebellum manor improvement, I say. So the antebellum manor is a unique improvement. You'll have cotton, you have sugar, and tobacco. That's what it can be. That's what it can be used to improve. Requires chivalry, and basically it gives you yields of gold and culture, and gives you +1 production and +1 culture built next to a city. So, ideally, you try to spam these around a little bit. Only built on flatlands, and while at war, you gain additional production and culture. So kind of a neat thing to do. I think you can build them outside of the improvements themselves also. So, spamming these too much might cripple you a bit, but if you want to diversify what you've got, it might not be a bad idea. All right, next up is the Canadians. Lester B. Pearson. Mounted units temporarily claim neutral land and add +1 Great Voyager points if garrisoned in a fort or citadel. Upon declaring friendship, Canada and their friend gain +1 delegate to the World Congress. So, diplomacy and trading and voyagers. There you go. Hudson's Bay Company. Hey, when's the last time you saw something replacing a bank? Unlike the bank which it replaces, it causes local forts to produce +1 gold, which is kind of weird. You're not really going to build forts. And even if you are, you're probably not going to build them on your own territory. maybe good in your puppets, honestly, because they do tend to focus on gold production. It might not be a bad idea. Anyway, units trained in the city gain the Colonial Capitalism promotion, which allows units to produce +1 gold when on a fort or citadel. So again, kind of stacking with that. And they gain 15% combat strength when starting a turn on a trading post. Do you like money and trading? This may be the Civ for you. Hunting for... All right. You also get a great Voyager. He can make hunt fur resources. Things get interesting that way. All right. Onward. That's just a really weird EUI thing that's not really telling me what it does. It's fun. Next up, Ludwig II of Bavaria. So culture yields from wonders are added to the city during construction, which is really interesting, actually. I think this is neat. So even if you try and fail, you at least get culture out of it. So you better start building all them culture wonders as long as you don't cripple your production. Cities with a wonder receive a free Great Work of Music slot, which is really cool. Those tend to run out quickly, and opera houses are tough to build at the time you start spamming great musicians out. So this is actually going to be a big help, if you have a wonder, that is. You get the Hotsia. It's a Lancer replacement. It is obviously weaker, but it is cheaper. 50% defense and +2 gold while stationed on a Schloss. Wow, it's hard to say. Whilst stationed on a Schloss. I had to do that much slower. That's tongue twisty. Try that. Say that 5 times fast and call me in the morning. And don't call me, I'll be weird. Cannot upgrade, but does not obsolete. Only Bavaria may train it. And, so basically it gives you extra D, up to 33 strength, which is, cavalry adjacent. That's pretty good. And it gives you +2 gold on a Schloss. Schloss can improve things. It gives you +1 culture. Nearby mountains give it another +1 culture. Good things. And can be built on hills. Alrighty, next up. Mbatyan from the Maasai. May God give us cattle. Pastures may be built in neutral or rival territory, claiming the tile it is on upon completion. That's not going to be annoying as hell. +1 culture from pastures. So yeah, he likes pastures. The Moran. There's got to be a more accurate pronunciation. Does not make that sound silly. It's not Moran like an Irish last name or anything else you want to be thinking. But anyway, replaces a chariot archer. Slower than the chariot archer, which it replaces, which is only 2 movement. It must be adjacent to an enemy to strike and requires no horses to be built. The Moran may enter rival territory to build pastures to steal resources and land. Only the Maasai might build it. So this is the guy who goes into enemy territory to steal pastures, which is going to be funny to see how the African continent turns out. The Enkang. It replaces walls and increases damage output of the city. Basically, it's a walls that requires no prerequisite tech. Yeah. And it's a little stronger, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And you get it like agriculture, effectively. I already said that. Yes, cheaper to build and you get an agriculture. Early walls. If you're next to someone really aggressive, this may actually help. Moru Chanyu, the Shongnu. The firsts. I almost said the fists. I guess it would work either way. Firsts of the eternal blue sky. Why is there so many tongue twisters this time, damn it? Build settlers and acquire plots much faster before entering the classical era. And cities founded during this time generate +1 happiness. Cities produce military units while training settlers. So, early, hard expansion is what this guy's going to be doing. So it should be interesting how to deal with him. Voltaic Riders. 3 movement, 8 combat strength, replaces warriors. And also grants movement to settlers. So guess what? You can settle even harder. Scary stuff. And you have production discounts for every horse resource and featureless plains or grassland tiles inside the city limits. Settle flatland. Settle a lot of flat land. Be happy. And the unique improvement is a yurt camp. And basically what yurt camps do, you can set up yurt camps with your melee units, or any other unit for that matter, and gain production in the city. So even if you can't improve it, you can camp these dudes out and spam out the next settler. Basically, that's all this guy's going to be doing. Just settling. It's going to be scary. Onward to glory. Nzinga from the Congo. Nzinga Monday, I think. Units ignore terrain costs when moving into any tile adjacent to a river, and suffer no attack penalty when fighting across rivers. Archery units train 10% faster. So, again, pretty cool. Obviously, river-focused and archery units. Gotta love archery units because they're not OP at all in Civ 5. Pombo! It's a pikeman replacement. Basically, it is good. It's basically got cover, and I think it ignores zone of control if it's flanking something. That's what I think it does, if I remember correctly. The raffia mill. Pretty interesting. It's a replacement for the mint. And effectively, rather than gold, dye gives you +2 gold and provides 1 raffia, which is unique lux. And it needs to be built adjacent. The city in which it is built needs to be built at least adjacent to 1 jungle tile. There we go. And if you remove all the jungle, it's gone. I'll say Tutu the First, the Ashanti. Gain golden stool points. Okay. When a city is conquered and converted to your religion, or when a great person is expended. All right. Golden stool points can be used to recruit units and influence or integrate city-states. Very good. The Abrade, it is a rifleman replacement. Go figure! Receives a bonus when fighting wounded units, and the first turn after being purchased or produced has 2 additional movement points. If you need to spam a defensive military or an offensive one, this is your guy. Drumroll Warrior replaces a spearman. It's as strong as a warrior. Bonus versus mounted. But it is a protector of the golden stool. You get 2 for 1 of these little bastards when you build them. And generates 1 golden stool point for every XP earned. Build a lot of them. Throw them at the enemy. Profit. Onward and upward. We're getting there. We're getting there. No, you're not one of them. You are one of them. The Kiwis are here. City growth increased by 10% for each trade route with a different civ or city-state. Max 30% per city. Probably a good thing, especially given where they're going to be starting in the TSL. With at least 1 defensive pack, New Zealand gains 2 additional trade routes, whilst their partner gains 1. Unique unit is a, wow, look at this, not a rifleman replacement. It's a Great War infantry replacement. Heals extra damage each turn when outside your borders, depending on his distance from the capital. The further, the better, so you get to heal really hard when you're invading across the world, and only New Zealand may build it. And you get the Defender, an ironclad replacement that ignores enemy zone of control, additional combat strength when you're close to a friendly city, but does not get this whole attacking cities bonus that ironclads do. Not a big loss, honestly, unless you were going to be throwing ironclads against cities all the time. So yeah, should be pretty interesting to see how that shakes out. Not you. Yes. All right, and then we are almost there to the end here. Oh, I got a couple more. Well, let's talk about the one I'll be playing. As you can probably guess from the thumbnail, we'll be playing the Trung Sisters of Vietnam. And I picked this civ mainly because it produces a very unique playstyle. It basically lets you go honor, like, really well. It's awesome. So, defensive structures within a city increase the spawn rate of great writers, which I do like. It never feels like you have enough of those. Artists and musicians. So, artists, musicians, cool. However, the cool thing is plus 5% culture and 5% food in each city for each social policy adopted in the honor tree. This makes honor competitive with liberty, with tradition. You know, like, you can actually go honor and not fail. That's good. Obviously, you want to go deep into honor for this, because if you get, I think, 30% max with the opener and the 5 policies, this could be quite significant in the long run. So totally worth it to go honor with this. That's what I want to bring it to you. Should be an interesting way to play. The Vietcong. It is a 70 strength infantry replacement. Gains invisibility. Hell yeah. And double movement in forests and jungles. And 25% combat bonus when fighting against a civ with a different ideology. Unlike the infantry it replaces. However, it has a combat penalty in open terrain. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, there we go. Unable to capture cities either. So we're going to be depending probably on either paratroopers, probably paratroopers at this point, to do the work for taking cities. But these will be basically just abusive infantry units destroying stuff through jungles and being invisible while doing it. It's going to be pretty cool. All right. And the Water Puppet Theater replaces the Amphitheater. Has 1 slot for a great work of writing. More expensive than Amphitheater. That's fine. But it does provide 1 extra culture, which is nice. Base culture is always good. Especially since you get, I think, your free Amphitheater if you do go... Well, we're not going tradition anyway, so it's fine. Great works contained within a city's Water Puppet Theater increases a city's defensive strength by 5. So defensive structures, defensive strength, and culture from honor. Should be a fun way to play. Can't wait to bring that to you. But wait, there's more! More civs. We said there's 22, and there's 22. William B. Ide from the Republic of California. Yes, it existed. Look it up. Briefly, yes, but existed. The bear flag, yo. During Golden Ages, all tiles that yield at least 1 gold yield an additional +1 science. Cool. Expeditionary. Lancer replacement. Pretty interesting. Unique Lancer. Acts as a reconnaissance unit, basically for scouting. This too, full pain. But you have extra sight. You have extra sight while embarked. You can't really attack cities much. But you do get to move pretty well. And probably is going to be a really good spotting unit for all your, I don't know, siege units trying to take a city maybe. Should be cool. And a unique great person replacement called the Great Filmmaker. Replaces a great writer. This unit creates great works unique to California and can only be produced by them. Movies, basically, obviously. Great works of literature produced by this unit provide +1 happiness, which is really cool when you think about expansion. And political treatises by this unit produce 50% more culture than the great writer. So, Yeah, it's a really good great person replacement. My guess is he'll be dipping into aesthetics at some point. William Barak of the Kulin, going on with the whole Australian native civs here, instead of generic Australia like we had it last time. When a city is founded, gain an influence boost with nearby city-states. Pretty cool. Each open borders treaty provides influence to all city-states that the other civ has at least friendly with. So, pretty cool. A nice way to try to go for diplomatic victory. See how that actually turns out if he doesn't get killed first. The Diorite Axeman, which, now these, like I said, we're going to be going in a longer period of time, so obviously earlier units are going to be worth more longer. So warrior replacement. Unlike the warrior that it replaces, when the Diorite Axeman is adjacent to land owned by another civ or city-state you're at peace with, it may perform a one-time trade mission. Sell exotic goods, kind of like the Portuguese now from Basic for Axis civ, to earn gold and XP. The farther the land is from your own capital, the greater the bonus. Okay. 20% cheaper to build if the city is directly working a source of stone or marble, which makes sense because diorite is a type of stone, and they use it for their weapons. All right, and then I'm going to try this. The Wallert Gurn Maker. That sounded so American, I apologize. Someone's going to correct me on that, I hope. This thing, unlike the Artist Guild, which it replaces, which is weird, the Wallert Gurn Maker can be built up to 5 times. 5 times! Contains 1 artist specialist slot, so you can get a lot of artists, and provides +2 great artist points. Units born with the city with a Wallert Gurn Maker receive the Possum Cloaks promotion, which gives it +1 movement, +1 sight, when starting within the borders of a civ you're at peace with, available at currency. So I'm thinking lots of peacenicking, lots of influence, and lots of artists. Should be interesting to see if this guy survives around more aggressive civs. But with the TSL, maybe. And Kimberly don't seem too aggressive with all the trading focus. I don't know, could be interesting. That's why they're all in here. Almost there, 3 more guys. Stay with me. The Toltecs with... Oh, crap. Xochitl. Xochitl? I have no idea. Maybe it's like a cha. Maybe it's like Spanish, like hoquitl. I don't know. The Toltecs, let's just say that. 5% production toward land units per great work of art in the city. Pretty straightforward. Gain great artist points for each enemy unit killed. Also lots of art. I mean, a lot of art in this game. Good. I'm going to be stealing some from my museums. This is getting better. This is about as good as the freaking First Nations LP. I had such trouble pronouncing everything. Sompantli. All right. 24% great people production. Garden replacement. 25, yeah, we know. Does not require fresh water, which is good. Contains 2 slots for great works of art. Okay, so that works out there, and which yield XP for land units when filled. Pretty neat, so very synergistic. Kill stuff. Gain great artists. Great artists fill these. You can kill stuff better. So the Atlantes, a unique improvement. Buildable on hills only. Yields +1 culture, +1 gold, and +1 great artist points. More artists! Newly built units gain +1 XP per Atlantes worked by a city. So yes, art and war. That is what Xochitl does. And Xochitl is probably being mispronounced, so tell me if you know. Yaroslav from the Kievan Rus, basically where the Ukrainians are these days. Trade routes with city-states generate +2 influence per turn. Yeah, it gets crazy. Rivers extend the length of land trade routes as if they were roads. I've played Yaroslav before. This is as strong as you think it is. Yeah, locking down cultural city-states. That's my bag, baby. All right. The Druzhina. 21 strength longsword replacement. Basically has better defense and +1 sight. Not bad. It's pretty good. I mean, it's basically a better longsword. Does what a longsword does, but better. I like it. The Veche Hall. Garden replacement. Does what a garden does. Requires no gold maintenance. And reduces the total building maintenance of the city by 15%. Very cool. Last but not least, we have Zhao Kongyan of the Song Empire, so southern China. Cities have a free specialist slot of your choice. Yes, that's as strong as you think it is. And specialists generate +1 food. Also, as strong as you think it is. May re-choose the free specialist slot when a great person is produced. Very, very cool. So very flexible. Kind of the Imperial Examination expert tile thing. Unique unit, Junk Ship. It is not junk, however. It is a ranged ship that only the Song may build. It is a galleys replacement. If damaged under 50% health, the junk ship gains +100% defensive combat strength. It goes to 32 strength. What? And +1 movement point to get the hell out of Dodge. Also generates gold when it passes through a trade route. With the number increases with the number of specialists. Additionally, Confers a great general bonus to nearby land military units. This thing is bananas good. They will be spamming these. It will be a problem. Fire Lancer. Fire bad. Musketman replacement. Unique thing, actually. It's built faster if there's enemies near the city limits, so that's going to be a bitch to invade. And if garrisoned on a city, becomes a one-tile ranged unit that costs no maintenance and decreases the combat strength of nearby enemies. So pretty cool. Once you're garrisoned there, it starts shooting rockets at people. So those are the 22 civs we'll be seeing there. If you stuck all the way through this video, I'm impressed. It's me talking for about half an hour. But everything that's going to come up here. But I hope you're as excited for this next TSL as I am. These are always awesome journeys. Whether we win or lose, or we're just hanging on for dear life, to see like a 22 civ modded world come to life is going to be a hell of an experience. I can't wait to bring that to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as soon as Faerun is done, as soon as our adventures there are complete, we'll be jumping right in to the land of Vietnam through the ages. I have been Urs, and I will see you next time. Till then.